Ambyr Amen-Ra, and for the last 7 years, I have cloth diapered my 3 children in various ways, from birth to potty training. I spent a few years touring around the U.S. talking to parents, and today we'll talk about the 10 most common questions that I receive about cloth diapering. Number 1, how do I get started? First, do your research. YouTube has a ton of videos from parents just like you asking questions and answering questions about cloth diapering. You can reach out to your local baby boutique, especially if they offer cloth diapers. Friends, family, those are all good ways to get a little bit of information about cloth diapering. Also, add a few to your registry. If you're not sure where you want to start, throw a couple on your registry that you think you might like. And if people buy them, try them out. You can also try a cloth rental service. There are services that offer drop off and pick up to your front door, and you don't even have to wash a diaper. All you do is store them, sit them on the porch, someone picks them up, they launder them for you, disinfect them, and drop off new ones. You can also try pre-owned diapers. There are a lot of baby boutiques that will offer pre-owned, already disinfected diapers that are gently used that you can try. And there are various ways that you can disinfect them again once you get home. Some people use bleach, some people lay them out in the sun and let the sun do its work. Number 2, how much should I spend? Really, that's up to you. But honestly, it can be anywhere from free to thousands of dollars if you include accessories. So of course, one of the benefits of cloth diapering is that it can be next to nothing in terms of cost over the term of your baby. Free, I know, you're like, what? How is that even possible? Well, think about it. The whole premise behind cloth diapers is that it's just layers of cloth, regular cotton sometimes, other materials that are natural. And you use that for absorbency instead of chemicals like disposable diapers. T-shirts, wool, sweaters. So if you're penny pinching and you need a quick diaper solution, you can use old t-shirts cut up in the shape of a diaper. I know, it sounds insane. Make multiple diapers out of one t-shirt, especially if your baby is a newborn. So wool sweaters, if you lanolize wool, it becomes waterproof and it'll keep all of the pee and poop inside of the wool sweater. You buy some lanolin. Lanolin is fairly cheap to get. A lot of local stores will have lanolin in the baby section because women will use it for breastfeeding. But you can also add it to warm water and lanolize your sweaters. Trust me, look it up. A great way to get old sweaters is to search your closet, ask your friends if they have Holy Wool sweaters, and thrift stores. It's a great way to keep the cost of your cloth diapering down. Another really inexpensive cloth diapering method is pre-folds and covers. You may recognize this from old school parenting. If your parents did cloth diapering, this pre-fold, once washed, will shrink up and this center section will become super absorbent. You can use various methods to wrap it around the baby and then throw a waterproof cover on it. So this cover is adjustable. So you can even use it on a newborn that's at least 7 or 8 pounds. And the inside has what's called pull that makes the inside waterproof. It's used on the inside of wet bags, which we'll talk about later, lunch bags, things that need to be waterproof. But you don't want that plastic feel. So you wrap this around the baby and then you put the cover on top and then you have a waterproof diaper. Types of diapers cost different amounts. You have everything from organic cotton to charcoal inserts, things that can get higher in price. But for the most part, you can spend what you want to spend. If you want to do cloth diapers, you can do it for as little or as much as you like. What about the poop? Yes, this is probably the number 1 question, but I saved it for later so that I could introduce you to important aspects of cloth diapering without scaring you off with the poop. But it is high up on the list. So what do you do about poop? Did you know that on disposable diaper packages, they actually recommend that you throw away the poop in the toilet before you throw away the diaper? because human poop isn't supposed to go into landfills. But we don't do that. So with cloth, it helps you be a little bit more conscious about what you are putting into the trash. So what do you do with it? So there are a couple of methods, and of course you can go to YouTube and look all of this up later for more detail. One thing to note is that breastfed poop is water soluble. So the minute you put it into the washing machine, it dissolves in the water and washes right away. Formula poop is not the same. Formula poop, you will either need to dump out into the toilet before you wash, rinse off with a diaper sprayer, or some people use the shower nozzle if it reaches to your toilet. You can also use liners. Liners come in various different materials. Microfleece is a very popular liner. Liners are good because they catch the solids while allowing the liquid to move through, and then you can just take out the liner, drop the liner contents in the toilet, and then wash the liners. Microfleece is really good because the solids will usually slide right off. Some people have a designated spatula that they use. Some people dunk and swoosh in the toilet. As long as you get off the majority of the poop before you wash them in your washing machine, there's little chance of having poop on the inside of your washing machine. Can I use cloth diapers outside of the house? Absolutely. First of all, it can be really tricky to find somewhere to dispose of your disposable diapers when you're outside of the house. The cool thing about cloth is that you don't have to find a place to throw them away. You can roll them up and put them in a wet bag. Slide them in the trunk, in the bottom of your bag. Really good wet bags will also minimize odor. One of my main tips for traveling with cloth, either on a short-term trip or a long-term trip, is having a good wet bag and making sure that you have enough. In some cases, you'll also want to do cloth wipes so that you can just throw the wipes in the bag, especially if you're out camping and then there's no place to throw away those items. Most dirty diapers can stay in a wet bag without being damaged or staining in 3 to 4 days. But after 3 or 4 days, you really want to make sure that you've laundered your diapers to cut down on the chance of them staining permanently. But of course, if they do stain, throw them out in the sun. The sun will bleach them naturally. Parents ask whether or not daycare or their babysitter will handle cloth diapers. Please check with your daycare. There are some states that do not allow the handling of cloth diapers by daycare staff. There are a lot of daycares that just have not been asked to use cloth, or will use cloth if you ask them and give them directions. One of the biggest tips I can tell you is to just ask the daycare worker to take off the dirty diaper and put it in the wet bag and leave it for you to handle at the end of the day. Most daycares will say that's fine and do that for you. So why cloth? That is a very good question, and there are many answers. My main reason for doing cloth was to be economical. I knew that I wanted to have multiple children, and I knew that I wanted something that would withstand multiple uses by multiple kids. I wanted something that wouldn't break the bank. I wanted something that I could spend money for up front and not have to worry about over the course of 2 or 3 years until we got to potty training. I had children with sensitive skin. I wanted my children to feel a natural fiber against their skin all the hours that children wear cloth diapers and cloth trainers. I wanted to make sure that what I was putting up against their skin was all natural and didn't have any of the chemicals of disposable diapers. Do I use disposable diapers occasionally? Sure. And when I do, I just make sure that I'm using disposable diapers that have minimal chemicals and that are unbleached if I can help it. So I also take a look at what's laying next to my baby's body when picking disposables. Cloth is just good for the environment. Think about the number of diapers that newborns go through the first 12 weeks of life. Between 10 and 12 diapers a day. That is a lot of diapers to throw into landfills, and disposable diapers take forever to decompose. Whereas fabric will go back to the earth, whereas fabric won't contribute to the chemicals that are leaching out into the earth, and it will disintegrate over time. Have you ever thought about getting up in the middle of the night to run to the store because you've run out of diapers? That was one of my biggest fears before I got pregnant. And I'm sure it's a huge fear for parents, especially during a pandemic when you're trying to stay at home as much as possible. So one of the benefits of cloth is that you just wash them. And once you wash them, you can reuse them. You don't have to go to the store. You don't have to spend money on them. You can just wash, reuse, repeat. Can anybody cloth diaper? They sure can. I mean, daycare, grandparents, husbands, siblings, cousins, whoever, everyone can cloth diaper. Sure, there are some types of diapers that are much easier for people to use, like diapers with Velcro closings. Anyone can do those. People who have trouble doing fine motor skills, they can still use the Velcro, and they feel the most like you're using a disposable diaper, which is what a lot of people are used to. There are some tips and tricks with cloth. You want to make sure that the leg part is tucked into the creases of the legs. That's how you get that waterproof seal. You want to make sure that you pull up the sides in certain places. So there are some fit things that are a little bit different, but for the most part, if you show someone how to put on a cloth diaper, they can usually get it pretty fast. What are the different types of diapers? Oh, there are so many. I talked about pre-folds and covers earlier. There are all-in-one, a diaper that has everything connected as one piece. There's nothing to pull out. There's nothing to stuff in. Everything is just in one place. You just put this on the baby, you take it off, you wash it, you repeat. There are pockets, and pocket diapers usually have an insert that's absorbent, and you stuff that inside of the pocket, and you can add to it. So if the baby had something extra to drink, or you're going to use this one overnight, you can stuff two in here. You can add things that didn't come with a diaper, like charcoal inserts or super absorbent inserts or bamboo. So you're not forced to use what came with a diaper. You can use variations, which can be good if you're having leak issues or fit issues. So you can try a number of things. There are other types of all-in-ones that have flaps so that if you have a boy, you can double up the protection in the front. If you have a girl, you can double up the protection in the back, where everything is still all combined. There are also hybrids that are half pocket, half insert, and you can add extra things in the pocket. You can fold the flap down into the pocket. You can do a number of things. So there are so many different variations. There are also fitteds and covers. So it's similar to the pre-fold idea, but the fitted is already formed in the shape of a diaper, usually secures with pins, Velcro, or snaps, and that goes underneath the cover. So there are so many different types of diapers. It really depends on what you have access to, what someone gives you. And it also depends on the baby. Some diapers fit better than others, depending on if your baby has fat legs or really fat tummy or really short torso. So there are a lot of things to consider. And that's why sometimes you just want to get a few things, try them out, see how they work before committing to a stash. Do I have to diaper full time? No. I mean, cloth diapering is really what you make it. A lot of parents will cloth at night and only at home. Some will use cloth during the day and a disposable diaper at night. Some parents like to cloth at home and travel with disposable diapers. If you're going on a 7-day trip and you won't have a washing machine or a dryer or a clothesline, disposable diapers. It's really up to you. You can do cloth at home and disposable at daycare. So you don't have to commit to doing cloth all the time. If cloth is something that you just want to try because you think, as the baby gets older, I really want to cloth, or you want to just cloth your newborn because they're fresh and new and you only want natural fibers to touch their little bottom, it's really up to you. Any cloth is good cloth. How do I know if my baby is ready to be potty trained? So there are a couple of signs to look for. Is your baby waking up completely dry in the morning and from naps completely dry? Does your child show interest in using the potty, either because other siblings are using it, because they've seen you use it, because they're using it at school? So those are my two main tips for, is a child ready for potty training? A good thing about cloth diapers is that because it's a natural fiber, it will get wet and the baby can feel the wetness. And a lot of times children will say, oh, I'm wet, and want to be changed. And so sometimes kids don't like that wet feeling at all. And so they'll hold it. And then you can say, oh, do you want to put it in the potty? So that feeling of wetness starts to get them aware of what they're doing down there. And sometimes that can encourage potty training. A good way to transition from cloth diapers into potty training is to start using cloth trainers. They also have the waterproofing. They have a much less thick insert, but the insert can be removed and another one can be added. So for pee accidents, you can take out the insert, you can use a wipe, you can wipe down the inside of the cover and use another insert. It's especially good if you're out and about, or if your kid has a really small accident where they start to pee and then realize, oh, I need to go to the potty. Some trainers are also adjustable like regular diapers, where they can fit multiple sizes and multiple widths. And then of course there's the more traditional trainer that just looks like underwear, that has an absorbent middle and usually has the pool lining. So it's slightly waterproof. Trainers don't absorb nearly as much as diapers. So I would recommend using trainers in conjunction with the potty when it's more likely that your kid will use the potty versus the trainer. So that's it for the 10 most common cloth diaper questions that I receive. If you'd like to get in contact with me and ask me more questions, you can find me on Instagram at Ambyr Amen-Ra. That's Ambyr Amenra. I hope that you found these tips really helpful and that you'll consider using cloth diapering for your next baby.